Okay, so we've taken the wheel assembly. We put this caliper stop onto the caliper. We needed the
Rob, you have a call on line 1. Robert, line 1.
We need the caliper on stop to hold that in place. We've got our wooden dowel going through the wheel. We're simply going to pull out the pin that's on our dowel axle. And now we're going to run our actual axle through. And if everything goes the way it should, we're not going to miss a beat here. So basically we're going to line up the actual axle with our spacers. Getting it started is probably going to be the most difficult for some reason. Doesn't need to be, but you know, it will be. Okay, I've identified the problem. The pin on the other side was preventing our axle from going through. It's not a big deal, just something you have to look for. Now, like it was supposed to, the axle goes in, pushes the dowel axle out on the opposite side. Goes through the swing arm, and now our wheel is in place. Although there's a couple of things we're going to do to it, obviously, to finish it off. So we need to apply the belt. So the beauty of the V-rods, belt's gone real easy. Belt goes on the pulley. The caliper and caliper bracket are inside of the belt, so they're positioned properly. With that stop, holding it in the center. So now we've got our belt on. Now we're going to go back over to the right side, and we're going to put our push our axle back in a little bit so we can get axle spacers on it. So we've got two spacers. One's a 1/2 inch thick. We're going to put that in place. We're going to bring the axle out to hold that spacer in place. The last spacer is 450 thousandths thick. We're going to put that in place.
Should probably mention the ABS.
And this is for a non-ABS bike. If you've got an ABS bike, you're going to put your ABS pickup as the first spacer, and then the additional axle spacer to fill in the gap after that. And once you've done that, you're going to bring the axle through. We're going to put on the cam adjuster. We're going to put on the nut. Now we're going to take a wrench on the opposite side and we're going to tighten the axle. Tighten the axle cam until we get the the belt tension where we want it. We go to the right side again. Tighten the nut. Not super tight, just enough to hold everything in place for the time being. Alright, so now our wheel is located. Caliper's in place. Belt's in place. And we're going to raise the tire and wheel basically off the ground. And then we're going to spin the wheel and make sure that it spins freely. We're going to look at the transmission pulley. We're going to make sure that the belt is aligned properly and that We've got no problems there. So basically that wheel is where it will stay until you need to loosen it to take a tire off, which we would suggest you save your dowel, run your dowel through again, hook up all your spacers and stuff to hold the pulley, the brakes where they belong. And then you take the wheel off and then just reverse the procedure again to put the wheel back on the bike. But it's a very simple, it's a 5-minute job to put the wheel on. Once you've got the swing arm on and you've got the bike situated where it needs to be. You do want to take a measurement from where the ground to the axle, the center of the bearings would be, so that when you jack up the bike, you jack it up so that the swing arm, center of the swing arm slot is at that height, so that when you roll the wheel up, you just simply run the axle through. Then obviously you put on your shocks and everything else, but that's basically how to get your wheel on.